Here's a review for the 2020 Lexus UX 250H. I love this car. I'll see you on the other side. Let's get into it. So it's been 1 year since this UX has come to the US market. It is a brand new vehicle and segment for Lexus still, and it is doing really, really well. A year later, this car is crushing it in Europe. Its sales have actually done really, really well as here in the United States, which is a little bit surprising because it is such a small car, and us Americans tend to like as big as possible. But this UX provides a lot of features, a lot of value for the money. There are some updates for the 2020 model. I will go over those, but in terms of the styling, nothing has changed. The paint color you are looking at right now is atomic silver. It always impresses me at any time of the day. It really doesn't matter. At night, it'll look more gray. During this daytime, you can see it looks gold. But let's get into the styling of the UX. This thing, when it came out, it sported some things that were unique to this vehicle. We'll start with the grille. Now, although the spindle grille isn't new for the UX, this particular pattern was when it came out a year ago. Now that the 2020 RX is out and the 2020 GX is out, this spindle grille pattern really, I guess, was the forerunner for Lexus with its styling. Now its bigger siblings, the RX and the GX, have taken after it, and they look just as good as this one. The headlights, they look super sharp. They look just as sharp as any other Lexus headlight. Now, when this vehicle came out a year ago, this daytime running light, the check mark right there, was unique for this vehicle. And it still kind of is in quite a few ways. If I get close for you guys, there are little, I don't know what you call them, little lashes inside of there. That's the best way to put it. There's little eyelashes, and at night, they catch the light and they illuminate. So it looks really, really sharp. Now, these are not the optional headlights. These are what we call the bi-LED headlights. You can have this with the triple beams, but I actually have not seen it outside of training here in the States. You pretty much have to custom order it to receive a vehicle with the triple beams. But man, they do look good. And then you guys in Europe, if you're watching this, you probably have the triple beams on most of your vehicles. Down below, there's a little slot where the fog lamps should go. Well, Lexus is typically building this vehicle for a price here in the States, and they're not including fog lights unless you get the F Sport package. But just walking around this car, I just love how it looks. It still looks very futuristic, sharp angles everywhere, and it's just an absolutely beautiful, beautiful car. Now, one of the things that's new for 2020 are not these wheels, but it can be had with an additional optional 18-inch wheel. I have no issues with these 5-spoke wheels. They're not my favorite coloring. I'm not a huge fan of the machine finished bicolor wheels. I'd like it better if it was just, one solid gray color, but I think they look pretty good. I can't really complain, but the new one coming out is gonna look gorgeous. Put a picture of what those new wheels are gonna look like that can be had on this UX. Stepping back, you can just see how compact this vehicle is. But like I said, from every angle, this car is sharp, and this paint color, atomic silver, really highlights the hard body edges and the hard lines on this vehicle. Coming around the back, this design language with these rear taillights would be nice to see on more of their vehicles. The lights are actually on right now, and you have about 150 LEDs that go from the right side to the left side in a nice, beautiful strip. At nighttime, they're absolutely gorgeous, and they still look good even in the daylight. And this should give you a good idea of what atomic silver looks like in the shade. It looks stunning from all angles. Underneath the hood is the same 2-liter hybrid Synergy drive that we see in only the UX right now. This is the only vehicle in America that has this type of hybrid setup. It is only available with all-wheel drive here in the UX, which is a nice thing here in the Midwest with our brutally frigid. I mean, people are ice fishing for crying out loud. Do you see that guy down there? Ice fishing. That's why we need all-wheel drive, because in days like these, it's better to be safe than sorry. Now, this vehicle gets you 40 miles a gallon all-wheel drive, and it gets you 181 horsepower, which is a step up from the base model with around 169 horsepower. So this is the model to get if you want a little bit more performance, and of course all-wheel drive for you guys in these lovely climates. And we're in the 2020 UX. I love this car, as you guys probably could tell from the intro. Everything about this car is of the highest quality. Now you might say the doors might be a little plain. I'm okay with the minimal doors. The seats though, the seats are exquisite, and that's the first thing you notice when you get in this car. You'd expect the seats to be smaller, maybe a little bit harder, but no, they're every bit as comfortable as, let's say, the ES, every bit as accommodating, and they seem to be bigger seats, more comfortable seats than its bigger brother, the NX. Now, this washi dashboard. Washi is a paper that's used in Japanese origami and other arts and crafts and other household items, and it is, of course, awesome to see here. I just love the texture of it. It's super soft. You don't really see this pattern in any other Lexus vehicles. I hope they bring it into more. We have a beautiful start button. And then all of these lights you see, this off, the front vent, as well as like the mirror and side vent, those are all lights. They turn off as the car turns off. So I'll turn the car off. That all turns off. So when people get in this car for the first time and they've never been in it before, a lot of the time they ask, well, what are all these switches for? What are all these buttons do? I'm like, well, it's hard to explain unless I turn the car on. Turn the car on. They pop on right away. I'll give you guys the starting screens. Pretty neat starting screen if you ask me. And how we're seeing this vehicle equipped, at least here in the Midwest, is that the hybrid version comes with heated and ventilated seats. It has a heated steering wheel, and of course those are all automatic as well. This is going to have the newest safety systems from Lexus, so this is a 2.0. It's going to have lane tracing, road sign assistance, low light pedestrian detection, bicyclist detection, and those are all on top of the existing features like radar cruise control, lane keep assist, etc. This is equipped with blind spot monitor. There's a little indicator at the edge of each mirror. Awesome feature that we love to see on every single Lexus vehicle, but it is not standard on this model. We do have a few base models, front wheel drive models, that do not have that feature. Now, this particular model is not equipped with the navigation package. However, it does have the most up-to-date software. So this does support Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Previously for 2019, it just supported Apple CarPlay. Android Auto, like me, I'm an Android user. I really appreciate having that feature on the 2020 UX. And this, my friends, that is a wireless charger. That's the first time I've seen it on the UX. They're probably going to be including that more and more often on this 2020 model. Right next to it is your traditional 12 volt. It comes up ever so slowly, but you can plug in your accessories through there. The touchpad is unchanged, which is no problem. I love the touchpad the way it is. It is perfect. It's very snappy, very easy to use when you have things like Apple CarPlay and Android Auto up on your screen. This does take some getting used to. So over here on your heating and cooling options, there are no radio buttons anywhere close. They're all located right here. So you can do your presets through here. You can switch through AM, FM, XM. You can turn it on and off. This is how you go through media. So your Bluetooth, your CD player, your USB drive. Like I said, this is how you go through your presets. This dials in or tunes in for your AM, FM stations as well as satellite. And then this volume button slides as well. So that's how you control the volume. Now it's a very nice central location for the passenger to be able to use. Over here on the steering wheel, which I love this steering wheel, super high quality. You can also control the volume of your radio right here, and then your AM, FM, XM, as well as your presets. The screen back here is unchanged for 2020. Now with this directional pad here, it controls all of this information screen. Most people will probably keep it in a hybrid. I like to keep it on the miles per gallon. Now this car's been sitting in place a lot, so the miles per gallon are not, of course, the 40 miles per gallon rated, but in a 2019 model for a city run, I got over 50 miles per gallon. Now you got to be driving like an old grandpa to get that high, but it's very rewarding and very fun in a hybrid to do. Up top are going to be all of your sunroof controls. Large sunroof for the size of this vehicle. Now you do not have a panoramic sunroof option for this vehicle. That's okay. considering the size of it, I'm okay with it, but I know a lot of its competitors like the BMW and the Volvo do have that nice panoramic sunroof. So over on the door here are all of your windows. They are all automatic all the way up and all the way down. Now this does not have auto folding mirrors. It is an option on this car, unlike the 2020 ES where it's standard. Now all these empty spots, well, what could you put here? Well, this car is not equipped or even available with the panoramic camera system, but I would expect it to be coming sometime in the future. So you could probably put the panoramic camera system button somewhere around here. And then also you would be able to put the heads-up display button over here as well, and maybe active sound control for the F Sport models. If you guys have any idea what else could go in these button slots, let me know and put it in the comments below. Sitting in the back of the UX, it's still very comfortable. Now you do sit up very upright. If you're really tall, it's not the most comfortable, but the seat quality is exquisite. The comfort of the seats themselves is good. The positioning is a little upright for my liking. Now, the seat in front of me is set up for myself, which I'm 6'1". And you can see my knees go into the seat, but that's not an issue because the seat deforms just a little bit to allow my knees to pass through. Now, if I was sitting back here like a normal person, my legs would be out to the side here, assuming that you don't have someone in the middle seat. This does support 5 passengers, but I would never recommend it unless they're little kids. You do have quick charging ports down here at the bottom, which is great to see Lexus is incorporating in all of their newest updated models. Now, you don't have climate control? You don't have control for the climate here in the back seat, but you do have this vent switch as well as directional for each individual side. Oh, and I just love the detail and the quality. This is just armrest, just the armrest, no big deal. And I just love how that looks here. Even in the back seat, I can appreciate all the materials of this beautiful UX. And we're off in the 2020 Lexus UX, guys. This is one of my favorite Lexus vehicles. I just enjoy driving it so much. It handles great, has good throttle response, it's super comfortable, it has the highest technology, or the most updated technology, I should say, of all the Lexuses with the 2020 RX, and it's just super smooth. It's the typical Lexus smooth that I love and enjoy oh so much. It's very quiet, just like every Lexus should be, but it is, for such a budget vehicle, now this, it is very quiet, but what is the price of this vehicle? Well, the sticker price is around $39,000, and that's how we typically see these hybrids built for our area. They're around $39,000 for the sticker. Now, there's of course dealer discounts and Lexus incentives on top of that, but this vehicle does allow people to get into their first Lexus or the first luxury vehicle for the first time, which is exciting if you're moving up from, let's say, the Toyota lineup. And this is one of the best done hybrids I've ever driven. What do I mean by that? Well, just the seamless transition from electric to gas, you hardly notice it in this car. You almost have to be looking at the EV button at the bottom left of the information cluster to know if the gasoline engine turns on. It just turned on. It just turned on. I had no idea that the gas motor even turned on, only because that button or that light that says EV turned off, that's the only way that I know that the gas motor is on. It's just so smooth, so seamless of a transition from electric to petrol or gasoline, whatever you guys want to call it. Now, the brakes on this vehicle are very touchy. It takes some getting used to, and it's not a bad thing, right? Every car has a different brake feel, different accelerator feel, different steering wheel feel. The brakes on this car do take some getting used to. They bite really hard or really fast, and that might help with the regenerative properties of the hybrid system, but I would like it, in my preference would be a little bit duller in the initial bite and then a little bit more progressive. It's almost like an on-off. Now, it's far better than not having a strong brake feel at all, but at the same time, there's not that typical natural progression that we see on most other Lexus vehicles. Now, what is the biggest weakness of the UX? We know it does a lot of things really, really well. Well, the weakness is, especially in this particular variant of the car, the hybrid version, its Achilles heel is interior space. Now, you saw while I was in the back seat, there's not a lot of interior space. You wouldn't want to take long road trips with adults in the back. You know, a half an hour to an hour would probably be just fine. But the hybrid battery in this car does take up more room than the non-hybrid version, which is unfortunate to see because they're able to engineer the newest ES So it doesn't have any space reduction in the hybrid. This vehicle is not the case. You do lose several square feet of storage space in the back compartment compared to the non-hybrid. Yes, you can still fold down the seats. This vehicle is going to be perfect for couples, maybe one child. I wouldn't want to have several kids in this vehicle, but if this is just going to be for you 99% of the time, either one or two people and a kid here or there, or an extra couple here and there, this vehicle will be enough for you. You can fold down those seats. You do get plenty of space, even in the hybrid, as long as you're able to fold down those seats. Dude, this Jimmy John's guy behind me is rocking out so hard to the song. I mean, his hands around his head. I mean, he is rocking out hard. That just made my day. Other than reviewing this car. I mean, this car is so awesome. I have to turn the heated steering wheel off, and I rarely have to do that in any Lexus vehicle. This has to be the best heated steering wheel in any Lexus I've driven. I don't know why. Maybe it's fully leather, but this seems to be the best heated steering wheel that I've ever tested in a Lexus. And this is the cheapest new Lexus you can possibly buy as well. So right now I'm cruising at 40 plus miles an hour. I'm in full electric mode. The gas motor just turned on, and I had to be watching it because it almost feels like hitting a bump in a road or just a small bump. That's all that the car communicates to you, that the gas motor, it just turned off and I didn't know. So it's just so seamless, so freaking seamless. This is the future of hybrids for Lexus Toyota. Everyone is starting to get into fully electric vehicles. Toyota's not sold on it yet. They will get there. I know a lot of you guys are worried about it. They have the means and the technology. They know how electric vehicles work, but they also are the best. No one even comes close when it comes to hybrids. And this is, in my opinion, the best implementation of hybrid technology that I've ever driven in a Lexus. And that's saying a lot because I love the RX 450h. If I was getting an RX, I'd get the hybrid every single time. The ES is tough because you get so much more power in the V6 compared to the hybrid system, but that hybrid system is so smooth. In this car, it's the best. It is the best implementation. Just from driving from the lake to this position right here, I'm at 47.5 miles a gallon. Now, what about engine noise? Well, I'll push it for you guys here in just a little bit so you guys can hear how loud the engine gets. 3, 2, 1, and floor. That's about it. I think it has enough power for this little vehicle. Now you might be saying, well, Kirk, this has the weakest motor in this subcompact SUV class, in this luxury class that is super hot right now. Yeah, but none of the other vehicles are that fast anyways, and this vehicle can get you well over 40 miles per gallon if you don't have a lead foot. So even after flooring it, I'm still getting over 40 miles a gallon. It's not like I can go much faster than the speed limit in this residential area anyway. So I'm always a big fan of efficiency over power because 99% of the time you're going to appreciate that efficiency more than the power. Now, is it enough to get you up to speed on the freeway? Of course it is. It is much quicker than, let's say, a Prius. Is it going to be as fuel efficient as a Prius? No, but this is a much better looking car than the Prius. It comes standard with all-wheel drive in the hybrid, and the interior quality and the overall quietness of this vehicle is not going to be even close in any other Toyota counterpart unless you get a Lexus sibling that's not going to get quite as good gas mileage unless it's the ES or something, but the ES doesn't have all-wheel drive. If you do not need the extra interior space, this is arguably one of the best, if not the best, commuting Lexus vehicle you can buy. And the reason is not because of pure miles per gallon, because the ES hybrid gets better, but it's because it offers so much. It gives you all-wheel drive. It gives you a decent amount of power, not as much as the ES. It gives you great efficiency. And if you know how to drive these hybrids for efficiency, you're going to be super happy and very, very intrigued by how awesome the system is. It's so seamless, so smooth from gas to electric, and they just work in perfect harmony. And although this vehicle is pint-sized, I'm not a small guy. I'm not a huge guy either. I'm 6'1", about 180. And I can just lounge out. I don't feel like I'm in a cardboard box or anything like that. It's very, very spacious. I can see out of the rear window perfectly. Even though that window is not that big, this rear view mirror is massive. So I can see the rear view mirror as well as the passenger headrest. So I could be having a conversation with the people in the back seat and see the vehicles behind me. It handles the bumps pretty well. Now it does have run flat tires, and that might be a con for some of you. There is no spare tire in this vehicle, and that may result in the ride being a little bit harsher than it would be if it had normal tires. Even so, it is still a perfectly acceptable riding and driving experience for the price point. It's not nearly as smooth, let's say, as the RX or even the ES. So for 2020, the UX 250h hybrid is an excellent buy if you're looking to get into the subcompact luxury market. It's also a great car for people who are looking to downsize or don't need anything super big for their commute. And the added features for 2020, like some additional optional wheels as well as Android Auto, is awesome to see Lexus slowly and continually improving these models year after year. Again, special thanks to Lexus of Omaha for providing this vehicle. It is an absolute joy and pleasure to drive this UX. But I will see you guys in the next video. Click that subscribe button and like for more Lexus reviews, news, and Toyota news for that matter. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Until next time, thanks for joining me. Peace out.